All right, Uchi's back for pod number 2 of BP Health. Last time, Uchi, just to give you a refresher, I know we've got a whole curriculum, a whole syllabus we're going to do, and you kind of started off with the power of small changes. We talked about sleep. We talked about a little bit of light exposure. We talked about the importance of community. We talked about the impact of junk food and how to eliminate it. And then coffee and alcohol and things like that. So it was kind of just a brief overview. And I think now we're going to get a little more granular with the specificity of nutrition. And I think you said that's such a big thing. And as a dentist, right, we're especially, I think the most, I'm looking for the word, the most toxic meal is usually the one during our workday because we are in between patients, right? Peeling off gloves. Hey, will you go run Chick-fil-A and give me something? Hey, just go give me some fast food. I need to go, right. And so there's not this intentionality, at least there was never in my career, to probably the most important meal of the day, which is the one I was needing the most fuel, et cetera, right? So, look, like Craig said on another pod, you weren't on it, but he's like, dude, you have a terrible diet. I've seen you. And I'm like, really?
Well, I didn't say you have a terrible diet. I say you have an amazing metabolism. Because I hear you eat. I hear because he's like, hey buddy, just hold on one second. He's like, can I get the crispy, crunchy, whatever, and the side of the curly, whatever? And I'm like, damn, Pete. And then I see him, and he's ripped. So imagine if you were able to,
Well, I think Uche, obviously we're gonna let you jump in and go with your topic, but I want to kind of put it back towards dentist because you probably show up, Uche, with a meal plan, right, to your day. You probably have packed it. You probably have put a lot of intention behind that versus I think most dentists are like me. Hey, will you get me something to eat? And it's usually the Chick-fil-A and the Diet Coke, just because it's just fuel. Food for me is just stopping the hunger versus I'm really looking forward to eating kind of thing. So versus Craig is like a foodie and he's like he's, by the time he's finished putting his fork down for breakfast, he's thinking about lunch. Which is true. He's shaking his head.
It's true.
What are we going to have for lunch? What are we going to do for dinner?
That's why Peter and I have such a good friendship because he's easygoing and it's like, hey, we're in LA. We got to go to Rafi's place for Persian. He's like, I don't know what that is, but I'll eat it.
I'll eat anything.
He loves
So Uche, obviously you are a clinical dentist, and so you know about the aspects of, flipping gloves and running over late with a patient and then being like, shit, it's lunch. I better eat something. But I know you're going to talk about more than just the clinical day nutrition.
Sure.
So hit it.
Okay. I guess a big part of getting information is look at the source, right? Like if I had just lost 30 pounds at a party, everyone would be talking about how'd you do it. But that same person,
they would say Ozempic.
Well, what else they'd say they've done it 10 times. Like I basically weigh what I did in grade 11, and here I am, north of 50, and I weigh what I did in grade 11. I don't work out more than an hour a day. I miss days. And also my information is not from People Magazine or I have so many people say, oh, I heard online, which is like I heard it in the wind. Like, what do you mean I heard online? Or I heard this TikTok. What are the credentials? Who is he? So for me, because this is my passion, developing this bulletproof wheelhouse. I'm double certified as a trainer, like not just one certification. I got two, which is pretty rare. I certified with the NSCA and CanFit Pro, a professional member of American College of Sports Medicine. I've probably competed in physique competition 10 times, 4 times during dental school, when people, all they can do is just show up and have tape on their eyes to stay awake. I competed 4 times, went to the Worlds during exam week and had my exams postponed because I was in Spain competing in pairs competition with a ton of meatheads. Like there was meatheads, and I was the one guy with, getting a dental degree. And they're like, why are you here? And I'm like, so I've really got it down to where I am unconsciously competent in this. Like I do it mindlessly. Like when I go to work, I just get this is really important. We talked about that cooler bag. If someone gets a collapsible cooler bag and in it, automatically I go to the refrigerator. I put 2 avocados in, 4 boiled eggs, a bag of arugula. I'll put 2 little cherry tomatoes in. I'll get a Ziploc bag of instant organic oatmeal. I'll also put 2 cups of Greek yogurt in, fermented food. I carry these with me when I travel. It's a fermented food. This is not a sponsor, but it's a fermented food. Put 2 of these in the bag just in case. I just add hot water. And now
is Uche grifting off our pod? Is that what I just saw? Is that a grift?
No. This is not a KOL.
Everybody's got to wet their beak, Craig.
I'm kidding with you, Uche.
So
as I drink from my cup here.
So I don't necessarily have a plan, but I make it hard to fail. And I find I'd rather eat nothing during a day than just grab pizza. Like, it's annoying. And I'm so happy when specialists send cookies and pizza and donuts. It always goes to the administrative crew. They're the ones sucking back on the Krispy Kremes. They're the ones sucking back on the cookies. And I miss it because I'm busy. So I'm thinking like, oh, Odiatu, the orthodontist sent some cookies again. All I see is crumbs. And I see a lot of tired people at the front desk. They can't even get off the chair. They're just like rolling to the photocopier, rolling back to the desk, trying to keep their heads up. 8 o'clock at night, I'm on fire. I'm on freaking fire. And so I think mitochondria health, energy is when you think of food, for me, I think of, well, how is it going to make me feel and how's my energy? And that's how I think of food. How does this affect my energy, and how do I want this in my body to make my brain cells?
So actionable items for the Boldens of the world who rely on a fast food lunch or someone to go get it. Stop doing that and pack a bag.
Yeah, for sure. Pack a bag. Get a collapsible bag.
There's nothing that you can get in a DoorDash scenario that would be Uche approved.
Almost nothing, unless you got an avocado salad or a seaweed salad. But that's not what DoorDash delivers. It's
right.
It's burgers, it's fries, it's pizza,
it's Krispy Kremes,
Krispy Kreme. And I literally. But if I'm weak, if I'm tired, if I just had a blowout with my assistant, had to take another impression. Now you're in a desperate state. Vince Lombardi said fatigue makes cowards of us all. If there was a cake there, I would jam the cake down. But I keep a distance from it. It's called a geographic distance. But a guy by the name of Brian Wansing, who wrote a book called Mindless Eating, said if you're more than 8 feet away from junk food, you're less likely to eat it than if it's right beside you. So I'd never put M&Ms in the operatory. I'd never put a piece of cake in the operatory. But the receptionist at an admin team, there's cake, there's cookies, there's Kit Kat. It's in the drawers. Dr. Odiatu, you're so disciplined. I just don't have junk food within arm's reach. And that gives me, killer arms and good skin.
Talk to me a little bit about how you feel about intermittent fasting. I know that's very popular. I hear a lot of high performing people and dentists talk about that. Are you a fan, not fan? Like where are you on that?
First heard about it 8 years ago. I was at a conference. To maintain my certification, I need a bunch of hours every year to maintain a personal training, my certification. And they talked this new thing about missing meals, which is like horrific if you're a bodybuilder. Bodybuilders eat every 3-4 hours. So to say you can miss meals and develop muscle, but that got really popular, and people talk about 20 and 4, 16 and 8, so not eating for 16 hours, only eating an 8-hour window. Now the new insight is, which Lane Norton, PhD, talks about, and Peter Attia talks about it. Intermittent fasting is a short-term fix. It's a surgical intervention. It's like putting a cast on a broken leg.
Short-term fix for what, Uche? Sorry.
For metabolic dysfunction.
Dysfunction, got it.
For the diabetic, for the pre-diabetic, which is 100 million Americans are diabetic or pre-diabetic.
That's a metabolic syndrome, right?
Metabolic syndrome, metabolic syndrome.
And just for the listener that's not a biohacker, metabolic syndrome means what? I know A1C 5.7.
It's like pre-diabetic, right?
Pre-diabetic.
But what else is it? What else is
high
it?
Triglycerides.
High triglycerides.
Your waist is the same size as your hips.
Got it.
For a man, a waist over 36, 38 inches is you're getting close to you're getting there. But technically, however your height is, they said your waist in inches should be less than half. So you're 6 feet tall, your waist should be less than 36 inches.
Wow. Craig, we got work to do.
Yeah. I'm like, geez, is there a metabolic syndrome anonymous group I could join?
Sorry, I derailed you
hi,
from
Peter.
that.
Hi, Craig. Welcome here.
I have a 38-inch waist.
Well, you know what's good about dad bod? It's like your waist could be 32, but just 3 inches north of that could be 40 inches. Just your pants get lower. Just cinch that belt real tight.
No ass, and just literally just drop your pants lower and lower and lower. Eventually, 32 inch.
Right, yeah.
Don't do it by the belly button, though.
Yeah,
all right, Uche, sorry. This
have
is what happens when Craig gets in a room.
No. I want to ask one quick question, because you talk about admin, you talk about the dentist going out for lunch, psychology. I just want to bring up the psychology one thing, and I'll let you resume. Your admin team is, I fell into this trap. You are judged by your peers and what they're doing. So as long as you're doing better than your peers, you tend to feel good about your behavior. So if you're surrounded, let's just face it, and I'm going to call it out, the admin team is typically representative of the average American.
Okay.
Right? I mean, not just the admin team, your support team is more representative than and maybe our listener is representative of the average American.
You talking about physical wise or health wise?
Health wise. Health wise. Mm-hmm. So what would happen to me, and I just want to point this out as like a trap, is I would walk out, see everybody picking out of the Chick-fil-A, just that's what they do. That's what typical people, average people do. And I would make a somewhat better choice than Chick-fil-A, but not an optimal choice, and feel good about myself.
You know what, though? But if you're healthy and lean and tall, I find expectation makes me eat healthier. If everyone around me is metabolically unwell, big bellies, skinny legs, Uche, you're such a star, it makes me even healthier.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So
that's what I'm saying. That's a trap.
I like the trap, though. It's high expectation. It's high expectation. Oh, Uche never does that. Or, oh, Dr. Odiatu's so lucky.
Okay, now so you're painting in a positive light, meaning, yeah, got it.
Yeah, I'm high expectation.
That's a positive feedback loop for him, is what he's saying.
Like you guys would not expect me to have a bag of.
You and I would acquiesce into like, okay, well, since you sound so good, then I deserve the Krispy Kreme. That's where you and I would.
Right.
I don't think I've ever. I've never said that actually. It's funny. I stopped in at a friend's birthday party. So everyone had been drinking since 5 p.m. I went at 10:30 just to stop in, give some champagne. Everyone was drunk, and I realized, wow, it did not make being drunk look attractive. I went, holy cow. I'd never been the only sober person around when there was a sea of people who have been drinking since 5 p.m.
Yeah.
It did not make me say I want to drink. I went, wow, how unsettling. Like, how unattractive. I don't say unattractive, because I do drink. But when you're the only sober guy, it makes everyone look, wow, this is how people look and feel. So if I'm in a sea of, again, no judgment here. If I'm in a sea of people who aren't in shape, it holds me up to a higher standard. I will not go down. I will not have that cake just because they don't expect me to. But if I want to mess with their mind, but if I want to mess with their minds, which is horrible, I would have a piece of cake and a Pepsi. And people freak out. I had a diet pop in Vegas at this Invisalign conference. I can't believe you eat. I'm like, dude, like I can, because I'm so metabolically healthy. I have so much muscle. It's like throwing a bucket of water on a huge fire. Nothing's going out. But most people
you have a machine. Your body's a machine. I look at this with Saisha because we both did CGM, continuous glucose monitoring.
Okay.
And she actually lamented saying, I think that the sensor's broken. And I've had 2 super fit people tell me that doesn't work. The sensor doesn't move. I'm like, no, you are so metabolically fit. You have so much muscle that excess glucose is absorbed so rapidly into the machine of musculature you have that your sensor doesn't move.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So unfortunately, this is a wake-up call for me as well. My CGM was bouncing quite more than it should. I did have an A1C that was 5.7. I got it down to 5.5. But the last level is musculature. I need muscle on my frame to balance that out.
Yeah, we need to hang out more, because muscle is the biggest organ in the body. Some medical doctors don't know that. And it's funny how I'm still now hearing on Peter Attia's cast and some other people, it's just been found out the muscle is an organ. They've known this since 2012. And when I was lecturing back in 2012, I was saying it's going to take 10 years to get to the general public what I'm saying right now. People are like, what are you talking about?
Right.
It's about 10 years, 12 years later. People saying, muscle is an organ. I'm like, I read that in a study in 2012 when they first talked about it. Bento Pedersen in Copenhagen. So I always want to stay on the cutting edge. I am out there. I got to stay ahead of everyone. So whether it's hydrogen water or creatine, I hadn't taken. Again, here's my product placement. It's not a sponsor.
Oh, I'm so happy we're talking about this, because I wanted to ask Peter, and I'm glad you're here. Peter, are you taking creatine?
I bought some recently because it's like the most studied
Yeah, 40 years.
A planet, yeah.
Yeah, 40
Okay,
40
so
years.
let's deep dive into that for personal reasons.
Wait. We're going to go all over the place here for a second.
So Pete, hold us. So my
tests?
wife is
We
happy.
talk about CGM. Let's get the tests out of the way, because you asked me talk about some medical tests to request to see where you are, and that's, I'm all about testing. Like, until you perio, you can't treat someone for periodontal disease until you probed. So here we're saying, scaling every 3 months. Where the pocket depths? Where's the recession? So medical tests are like the perio charting of the health system.
Yeah, but they're not all created equal. And Craig and I have talked about this on the pod about how the doctor will be like, hey, well, that's not covered in insurance, so I didn't get it on the panel kind of thing. And so I think, from a foundational level, Uche, I've had some health scares, so I'm big into testing just from a preventative diagnostic standpoint.
Okay.
And I think there's, from a cardiovascular thing, there's different panels, like the Boston Heart Panel is one that goes into ApoB and LPA and things like that, that just are not, LPA is like the widowmaker. And like, I would have never known that I had elevated aspects of that. So like, just, hey, my cholesterol's high is not a thorough cardiovascular thing. And I think that many dentists, given our stress and things like that, so who talks about the four horsemen? Is it Huberman?
Basically going to Peter Attia.
Okay, so you're going to die of one of the four things, right? So cardiovascular issue, cancer, neurodegenerative disease or diabetes, and then or an accident kind of thing. And he's like, so I think there's a disproportionate amount of cardiovascular concern in our industry. Personally, I always try to loop it back to dentistry, and we're just not getting the data. You're like, okay, yeah, I had a physical, but is it like really a physical? Is it like click on the knees? Oh, your reflexes are working. Oh, your cholesterol's decent. But like, that's only, I think, a little picture of it, of what you should be getting personally. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. You can be skinny fat. Like, someone can say, wow, he looks great in a suit. He can have crazy out of control markers. His heart rate might be 80, So I know Peter Attia recommends 4 or 5 tests, and I'm about those tests. But
can you tell what they are?
Oh, yeah, there's LPA, which you recommended. That's probably one that has to be done like once every 2 years. It's like, and that's one you do a fast on. And then ApoB is the one that no fasting is needed. So
LPA you cannot change. It's a genetic. It's a genetic condition. So you're right. You don't have to do it.
Why is mine getting worse over time? Is that just the function?
It's exacerbated by ApoB. So back to what Uche. So Uche, okay. So LPA. ApoB, you say?
ApoB, and those are 2 good ones. I've never had those. I actually went to the Cleveland Clinic in 2013, so I might have had them, but nothing jumped out. Those are to do with cholesterol and LDL. Because the sad thing is, though, what the saying is, even people with low cholesterol can have a heart attack. So that's why some of these things are. That's why I think it said half of all heart attacks happen in people with no risk factors, like Jim Fixx, who made jogging sexy at 53, dropped dead of a heart attack. So you can look great and be very unhealthy. That's why some people look good in clothes, but you put someone with their Calvin Kleins, I could tell how healthy they are. I could totally tell how they sleep.
Well, I mean, look, that's what, remember Bob Harper from The Biggest Loser? Like, he had a massive heart attack at age 52, and it was because of, he wasn't tracking LPA. And it wasn't on the panel.
Well, you're speaking pretty definitively. So are both of you in agreement that LPA is just an overall predictor of coronary cardiac risk?
In the presence, in my understanding, it's in the presence of a lot of LDL, it's very problematic.
Yeah. And if people who have if you have a family history, so that's why in insurance always ask you, what did your parents die of and when? So if someone's dad or mom had a heart attack before 70, a heart attack before 60, you probably have definite genetic issues. And it'd be hard pressed to not take your health seriously. So if someone has any kind of family, if dad dropped dead at 62, 58, 71, I would definitely angiogram, LPA, ApoB. So I'll definitely get that. But if your parents died, my dad passed away at 80, my mom at 92. I don't even need LPA, ApoB. I have no family history. Plus, I've been eating healthy for so long. But for the average Joe, the average dentist, the average female or male, I'd say LPA is a good question to ask. And I don't care if insurance pays for it. Pay the $2,000. Like, put the price tag on dying. The price tag on dying. Like, get the test. I don't care if it's on the panel. I'm ordering the test. I want the ApoB.
So let's just say that you have these risk factors, okay, and you find out that your ApoA or your B is high.
Yeah.
What Peter's saying, it's genetic, so you can't change that. Is that correct? or
Yeah.
diet and exercise can change it.
So you want to maximize your ability of not dying. So that's why Peter Attia talks about maybe a statin could be right for that person. A statin would be very good for that person. A statin would be very good.
And a statin, if I understand, is just an anti-inflammatory for your vessels. Is that kind of the best way? Okay.
You know what's so interesting, guys? I have a real world experience for this. So I have high cholesterol. It's been moving north. My LDL is high. I go to the cardiologist. I book an appointment with him. He says, okay, your calcium score is 0.
Oh, wow.
Doesn't ask anything else. He said, it is not indicated for you to be on a statin. He didn't ask anything else. I said, are you sure? Like, I don't mind. I'll go on a statin. He's like, no, it's just not indicated. You know, you have no symptoms. Your calcium score is 0, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to punch it into this. Literally, there's a formula online for cardiologists. I don't know what the hell it is.
Yeah.
But he put me in the formula and said, no. So here we are, real world example. I have to go to another level of interventional medicine, because what you're saying is scaring the shit out of me, at least. You know, I'm actually getting phantom chest pain right now.
Well, cholesterol is made by the liver. So if 80% of your cholesterol is made by the liver, I want to know why your liver is pumping out cholesterol. Why is your liver pumping out cholesterol? And one that is actually stress, believe it or not. So you might be a pretty chill dude, but if you have an intense life with lots of demands, your liver thinks there's a stress going on, so it pumps out cholesterol. So it's how can you make your liver down-regulate its need for cholesterol? It's sensing that it needs cholesterol. Survival.
Interesting. So for liver, the first thing that jumps out of my head about liver to a layperson is alcohol.
Yeah.
So is alcohol related to cholesterol?
Alcohol makes your liver not work well. It's one of the biggest reasons for fatty liver. But there's a huge element right now of young people with non-alcohol related fatty liver disease, NFLD. So there's people who don't drink that have fatty liver just because they eat lots of high fructose corn syrup food, eat a lot of junk food, stay up late, hate their job. You know, they're doing endo, they hate endo. You know, they book patients at 7 a.m. They're not a morning person. And they may not drink, but they might have fatty liver. So if someone has higher cholesterol, I'd be looking at how can I manage stress better? What am I doing that I don't enjoy? What can I delegate? How can I make my life more effortless? You know, what annoys me? Like when your CGM's going up and down without eating, you're annoyed. Because every time you're annoyed, the body releases sugar into the bloodstream for a fight that never happens. So if you're bouncing up and down, talking to your spouse, hey, like counseling, meditation. So the body, the sugar gets released in the bloodstream when you're upset. So
Uche, let me go one level up for a second. So you went to the Bulletproof Summit. You obviously saw us talk about, you know, KPIs and numbers and data. And I always tell people make decisions from a data driven, not an emotional.
Right.
And so that's where I think like it's really good to do a deep dive into testing to form a foundation. Otherwise, you don't know what you're trying to fix.
Yeah.
Right. And so obviously beyond cardiovascular, I think you said there were 5 things, and I only heard 3. But I'm going to keep you 2 on track here.
Okay, so the third one is the oral glucose test, oral glucose tolerance test. How well you manage glucose? They give you a big drink, and they want to see how well it gets metabolized. And I guess they look at you every 2 hours. A CGM would be one thing to have, but it's hard to get a doctor to give you a CGM if you're not diabetic. But if I was an athlete, I wouldn't mind knowing, you know, which foods are good or bad for me. A CGM might be great because bread might do nothing for me. Otherwise, bread for you might spike your blood sugar. So, some kind of glucose test, oral glucose tolerance. Okay. The other one's an ALT test. ALT tests liver. So ALT, you need an 8 to 12 hour fast, and it looks for a damaged liver because ALT is elevated in someone who's got a damaged liver. People always talk about heart disease and muscle and brain health. But the liver is the only organ that you can actually lose 2/3 of it with cancer. It'll actually grow back within a year. It's the only organ that can grow back. It's like a lizard growing back.
Starfish, huh?
You can grow another liver. You can have a quarter and it can grow full size again, which means it's very important. And the reason why is until I had it explained to me, everything you eat goes into your small intestine. Before that nutrient-rich blood goes to the heart, all of it goes through the liver. Everything you eat, the blood goes to the liver, and the liver goes, oh, you got that in it, you got parasite in it, you got this in it, and it takes that crap out of the blood before it goes to the heart. The only thing that can go directly into the bloodstream is fat, actually. That's why fat is such an odd creature. Fat can go directly into the bloodstream. You can eat a double burger and fries and double cheese, And they said within 30 minutes, you'll have elevated fat in your bloodstream. So fat is the only thing that can often has a chance to bypass the liver. But the liver basically detoxifies everything. So it's funny. People say, I'm doing a detox. You can't outsmart the liver. I mean, it's a million years of human history, and you're trying to there's no detox. Like liver's detoxing all the time. So
I always think of it, so the liver is more of the filter of the entire body versus, I always think of kidneys as being the
No. Liver is, all the food goes to the liver. And that's why if you have a really healthy liver, that's why some people can metabolize alcohol well. That's why some people can look great at 50, 60, 70. If your liver is incredible, it's like having good cash flow, right? Like a dentist has good cash flow, can make a lot of dumb mistakes with their money. But so having a good liver means you can make a lot of dumb mistakes with food, but your liver takes it out.
And is ALT a good prognosticator of your liver health?
It tells if there's damage, because ALT is elevated in a damaged liver. So it'll tell from alcohol misuse, which is literally, they actually say binge drinking once a week can abuse your liver.
And what's AST?
I haven't heard AST. It was ALT. It could be
ALT and AST, I thought. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. All right, keep going.
The other one is ApoE, which is pretty rare. ApoE means the chances of you getting dementia are very high. It's a genetic trait to look for the fact that you have the gene, most likely will get Alzheimer's. It's not a question of if, it's just when. And they often starts early, 50s, 60s, foggy thoughts, poor memory, can't recall names. What am I doing in this room? Kids never say, what am I doing in this room? They say a cognitive decline can start as early as 30, 40, just not be able to remember a number.
But ApoE is a genotype, right?
I don't know the exact term, but it's definitely for someone with Alzheimer's. It's a test, though. You can take the test for ApoE. I think it's ApoE 4.
Yeah, there's ApoE 3 of 3 and 4 of 4, and yeah.
You just do not want that one. If I found I had it, it could almost be a death sentence if you don't know what to do, though. But if I knew I had the ApoE for Alzheimer's, I would definitely walk an hour a day. I would manage my sleep better. I would shrink the size of my neck. I would make sure my airway's open, because the hallmark of dementia is a lifetime of being a poor sleeper. So I would stack the deck in my favor of maximizing sleep, lowering my body mass, and managing stress if I had ApoE. So it's pretty rare. It's pretty rare.
Yeah, it can be associated with increased risk of Alzheimer's disease and other health conditions. So it is a genotype, but it's the APO4 allele. And so look, you're not getting that at your regular, regular doctor that's in your plan is not talking to you about, hey, what is your ApoE genotype kind of thing, and should we look at that? They're not doing that, right?
Well,
so you're saying the wrong one could be a death sentence.
Well, I consider every dentist, male, female, consider yourself like a high-performance race car. Here's Craig with his Porsche. The Porsche doesn't go into Jiffy Lube for his service, right? So if you're a premium guy, a premium car, you cannot go to the average Joe's car Jiffy Lube. You cannot get your car serviced. You're not getting your car washed at a beaten up rotary clean. You're getting it wiped down with beautiful cloth by
right.
The bathing suit models. That's what I think that's what Craig does every Saturday morning.
Yeah, that's what I did last Saturday morning. Yep.
Oh, okay. Let me just go to medical chat GPT here. ApoE4, the genotype, has a 12-fold increase in developing Alzheimer's compared to ApoE3. It's also linked to increased cardiovascular. So you're right. Going back to the 4 horsemen of what Tia says you will potentially die from.
But no one's testing for this.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know, but I'm at the Cleveland Clinic executive physical. I feel really good about myself going there. They're a whole different level than my local doctor was, but I've never had this test. Ever.
I think you got to ask, but people often
probably
don't know.
Have seen it.
You got to ask, and I find that sometimes a really good family doctor could ask for these tests. I would say you need a doctor who's an athlete. It's like a dentist with bad teeth. Like, why would I want him doing my crowns or veneers? Like, I want a medical professional helping me who looks and feels better than me. I want a guy in shape. And sometimes I'll have an audience, 1,000 people. Who here has a medical doctor or a trainer or a life coach that's doing worse than them? You'd be surprised how many hands go up. Why are you taking health advice from an obese guy? If someone's at a party, and I'm not judging them, if they're obese, I don't want to know what they're eating. Oh, don't do that
Yeah.
too. I'm like, not interested, but I don't say that. I just kind of zone out and pretend I'm introvert. You know, I don't take real estate advice from a homeless guy. There's people lecturing on stage about real estate and they're homeless. There's people homeless when it comes time to nutrition and they're
Well,
lecturing.
listen, there's people lecturing on dental business practice management. They don't actually own a dental practice. They're not even a dentist, though. Yeah, we subscribe to that as well.
Hey, Uche, are you familiar with Brad Bale and Amy Doneen?
Yeah. I've lectured with him, actually.
You have? Okay, so I went through that fellowship certification, which is why I kind of know about some of this. And I actually went so far as to I hired a pulmonologist that worked in my dental practice circa 2014.
Wow.
And we were trying to integrate, right, from a whole complete health dentistry standpoint, really trying to connect all the dots. It ultimately that thesis didn't work out, but in that process, like that's why I probably know and have had more testing, Craig, than the average bear, is because I was kind of the beta test for a lot of these things. And so by going through that fellowship with Bradley Bale, Dr. Bale, I learned a lot of stuff. And so that's where the ApoB. And so he talks, the book, Beat the Heart Attack Gene, literally speaks to a lot of this, right? Heart attack, stroke, and diabetes kind of thing. So sorry, I just wanted to interject that.
Yeah, no, it's good to be motivated.
It is alarming that there are so many experts in so many different in so many different domains of our life. But as you said, the most important domain, like you always say, like when we were talking about doing Bulletproof Health, it's like, yes, you're helping these dentists add millions of dollars to their profit. You're helping them organize their systems. But what is all of this going to be without health? And there's so many resources from other domains of our life. And I guess the population is so damn sick, Uche. We're so unhealthy globally that it's like, what the hell are you guys talking about? Like, get out of my waiting room. I've got a whole bunch of morbidly obese people that are on death's doorstep. And you're coming over here, how to get optimally well. We don't have time for you. Get the hell out of here. So like, okay, I guess I'm healthy. I'm way above the average. And as the average continues to fall down, then these conversations are even going to be more rare.
Yeah.
So it's almost like the way the classes, the financial classes, the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. I would imagine that the average is getting less healthy.
Yeah.
And then people that are listening to things like this that may have the access to understand will get much, much healthier. It'll be a separation of the population.
Yeah. Yes. No, it's fascinating to know why. Like, why aren't people interested? They do say, though, that 85% of CEOs exercise and eat healthy. 85%. While only 50% of the population exercises and eats healthy. So as you go up the economic demographic, there's definitely more health involved.
Yeah, like you hear that, but then the statistics are skewed. So it's like racket sports are correlated with an increase of 9 years of longevity. You know why? Because racket sports are like pickleball or tennis. Like you have to go to a club, you have to have money. Like these are sports of the rich. You know, so it's like, it's not that people are thinking, no, I'm imagining that there is some reach. You don't think so?
No, I think that's a reach.
No, people who take not public transit. Say if someone's making $15 an hour or less, which I've read, half of American adults make $15 an hour or less. To give you an idea, a lot of dentists complain about $300,000 a year, 500. They're in the top 2%. So, but half Americans make less than $15 an hour. So to come to a golf club, the membership's anywhere from $2,000 to $35,000, $50,000. And if dentists know that $500 dental surprise makes some people not be able to go ahead with it, now, so that makes sense then. If $500 is a dental surprise treatment that people can't go ahead, all of a sudden play pickleball or racket sports, it's probably not happening in the lower economic demographic for sure. That's why they said a lot of times people who eat fruit every day are healthier. Well, who can afford to eat fruit every day? Fruit is one of the most expensive food items we eat. That doesn't last long. You could, for a pound of apples, it could be, $3. An avocado, $2 an avocado. If someone said eating an avocado a day helps you live longer, I don't think the average American can afford to eat a $2 avocado a day. That's $740, $700. So there's a lot of correlation studies that get cherry picked, and that's why to break it down to food, though, which is interesting, and this is why I'm passionate about food. They've actually shown that unhealthy eating will hurt you more than healthier eating will help you. So the minute Peter cuts out his junk and Chick-fil-A, you should put your energy on other things. strength training, meditation, yoga, sleeping better, and forget trying to nuance and hack into nutrition. Even though I'm into nutrition, I realized how many times we've been proven wrong. Like for 5 years, intermittent fasting was amazing. Now they're saying it's strictly a short-term intervention. It's not meant for healthy people. Because women over 50, if they're not eating protein every 4 hours, they'll get that little old lady look simply because they need more. Little old ladies need more protein than the bodybuilder because they don't. It's harder for them to maintain a positive nitrogen balance. So if you get a 55-year-old plus woman doing intermittent fasting, watch how emaciated she looks and how lack of fitness she'll have in her body. She might look in a little black dress, but no fitness.
Got it.
So intermittent fasting is a short-term intervention to get back, and then you move on to protein every 3-4 hours if you want to build some muscle, which is it'll
3
make
to
you
4 hours is
yeah.
ideal. You know, I've heard that forever and ever, and I always thought like, well, man, that's going to spike insulin, and then you know all these.
No, two eggs and avocado, half a can of salmon, chicken breast, and it takes just like you how much energy you put into your finances. It's going to take some conscious effort, but then it'll become effortless. So for breakfast, you'll never have a croissant and a coffee again.
Yeah.
Right.
You'll go to Starbucks and get some egg bites and a spinach feta wrap instead of I'm just going to have a Danish.
Well, since you mentioned egg bites, by the way, I do want, before we break, I want to discuss the seed oils phenomenon.
Yeah, that's going on like crazy because RFK is talking about that a tremendous amount right now in our presidential stuff.
What everybody's talking about anecdotally is people going to Europe and eating their faces off and coming back, especially people that are lucky enough to go to Europe for 8-10 weeks. They come back and they're always thinner.
Same people who play racket sports, I'm guessing.
Yeah, people that play racket sports that go to Europe, they come back and they're thinner. And it's my understanding that there's less use of the seed oils. So since
you're also walking 8 miles a day when you go to Europe, like but whatever.
It's not just that.
Hey, but also, you know what though? In Europe though, they stopped using antibiotics in animal raising 20 years ago. They banned antibiotics in cattle. Any animal meant
1,000 things that we use. 1,000 things we use in our American, in the U.S. Sorry, American. I know you always get mad as a Canadian because you're North American too, but we don't think of you that way. Just so you know,
we just think of you as our cold neighbors.
Yeah. The parking lot from Minneapolis, whatever you want to call it.
Hey.
So what there's 1,000 things that we use still in the U.S. that are no longer allowed in the EU. And one of those, I think, and I'm talking to school here, what's the position on seed oils and why and what is that stuff? And why is it presumed to be bad?
Again, if you want to cook with better quality ingredients, you need to make more than $15 an hour, which is half of American adults make less than $15 an hour. So to start saying I have hemp oil, avocado oil, extra virgin olive oil, and coconut fat or coconut oil, those are the 4 things that I cook with. I don't use safflower oil, sunflower oil, canola.
But what is a seed oil? It's not really
why, I guess where he's going, where the nuts of it is, why are those problematic? And
also like
is not.
Canola oil, vegetable oil, from what I understood, and again, I'm the layperson here, I heard there's not vegetables in vegetable oil.
Oh yeah, it's chemically engineered. Like most of the science.
What a great name! Like Chilean sea bass is like the Patagonian toothfish, and it's nasty as frick.
Yeah,
you would never want to eat it. So tell me, what is canola oil?
It's agribusiness. It's how to make something last a long time on the shelf, how to make it grow quick, and how to be resistant to disease. So pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides, saturated, genetically modified. So it's now almost like a Frankenstein fat. And people of low economic means buy cheap food. They buy cheap food. And so wealthy people.
So you want to hear something interesting? I'm in Aspen. And I'm with one of my friends, John's wife, Cherie. She's like a biohacker. She's always the person that gives me information. And for 3 years, I tell her she's full of crap. And then 3 years later, like, I'm really sorry, Cherie, you're right. But she was asking, all the time, like, what oil is that? Blah, blah, blah. We went to a very fancy steakhouse. It was $48 for 2 Caesar salads. $50 for 2 Caesar salads. They come and make it tableside. And the guy takes the oil out and she says, what oil is that? He says, well, it's a mix of canola and olive oil.
Oh my God.
I'm like, oh, canola oil. That's interesting. Why are you using that? It makes it taste better. Yeah. Bullshit. So like $48 Caesar salad, we're saying we don't want to spend an extra 80 cents to use the better oil. That's how so you talk about the socioeconomic classes, but the profit, there's profit in this as well.
That's what restaurants, all
Right. And all the restaurants, every single one, she was asking, what do you fry this and what do you do that? And every single one was a seed oil at these
Yeah.
Was that a
high-end
little
places.
annoying, by the way, when you were out with her? Like to be like,
Well, it was.
here we go.
It was when, yeah. In full disclosure, it was annoying when I thought she was full of shit, and then I'm like hearing everybody now, 3-4 years later, and I'm like, damn, she was right.
But you know what, though, Craig? What happens is, if you eat out every day, it's a problem. If I eat out once a week, I'm having the meat. I'm not going to. I'd like it to be grass-fed, antibiotic-free. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to have Chilean sea bass because it's probably the worst fish with the most antibiotics inside. Chilean sea bass.
Is
It's
it
like,
really?
oh yeah. If you have
Great.
an STD, have some sea bass twice a week, and it'll go away. But
Okay.
yeah, Chilean sea bass is.
So how often are you eating Chilean sea bass, Uche?
Next time you hear Peter ordering, I'll get.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Any
funny.
one of the three of us at a restaurant ordering Chilean sea bass, you're like,
I do love sea bass. Okay, this is
No,
this is
it's
great.
probably the worst.
no, I never eat that.
Yeah, I would not eat.
I have
sea bass.
tilapia in my lake, and I won't even eat them. They're so nasty. Those cichlids,
Tilapia is
gross.
a genetically modified fish. It's a
Well, not
Frankenstein
mine.
fish.
Mine are just hanging. They're
Okay,
cow
all right.
modified. But let's get back. So the going out, as long as it's not an everyday thing.
Yeah.
I feel it now too, because I'm really lucky. My wife cooks a lot. So when I go out now, I can notice I don't feel as good.
But why keep going there though? So again, if you're at a restaurant, if you're at a restaurant though and eating with a lot of good people, I did a story about this a couple of days ago. It was crave the conversation, not the food. So if I'm in a horrible restaurant, I'm thinking like, oh my God, Chilean sea bass, all the meat has got antibiotics in it. The salad has canola oil and I'm just gonna have some water. I'm gonna have some soup, water-based soup, and I'm gonna chat and talk. I'm gonna hang out and chat and talk.
But then people look at you weird, like, oh, you're not eating? What's wrong with you?
Let's make it about the drinking. The drinking's the weird one, man.
So peer
people
pressure.
freak out
I don't mind the
when
peer
you're not
pressure.
drinking.
I don't mind the peer pressure. I'll not eat. I'll say just to make people not feel bad. Yeah, I got some stomach issues. I'm just gonna have the tuna tartare, which is like tuna and avocado, and that's what I'll have, and some soup, and I'll have a glass of wine, and it makes people feel okay. But I'm not gonna eat a lot of junk in a meal if I'm gonna be there for 4 hours. Not if I want my mind to be clear, and if I'm gonna lecture all day the next day, me eating pure when I'm traveling gives me that much more conviction and authenticity. I'm like Billy Graham from the pulpit. If I'm having a great week, I'm speaking in Destin in like 4 half days in the next couple of days, and
Peter loves
I'm gonna be like Billy Graham. Like like all my stuff around me, whether it's even preparing for today is going to make me have so much conviction. And just like chairside, Peter, when you're convincing your team that they can open up another dental office, or people love conviction and authenticity. It's so convincing.
Yes, they will follow that leader, the William Wallace of the world, right?
Conviction is so attractive.
Mm-hmm.
I still have the studies. My PowerPoint, I have 300 slides, but me living it, and I'm not 25, so I'm north of 55. But at 182, if I can stay out till 2 o'clock in the morning, if I have so much mitochondrial energy, my skin is clear, that take notes. Like people should be taking notes, and without judgment,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's just no way. I guess where I'm getting this is there's no way that you cannot plan your meals and eat healthy.
Yeah, I can do it. I got on a plane. On a plane.
No. But okay, on a plane. But I'm saying in life in general, right? Like the people listening to this, the dentists listening to this, they're worried about their marketing and their SEO and their business and this employee and hiring this person. They don't have the bandwidth. Maybe they do, but like I'm saying that you can't get healthy by accident. Meaning you can't eat healthy by accident. You have to be intentionally bringing something so that you will avoid the fast food seed oil trap. Yeah. Got it. Okay. There's no hack.
You need conscious competence. You gotta bring that stuff. If you don't bring food to work, you're at the whim of whatever birthday party.
That's intimidating as shit. I gotta tell you, man.
Of course it is.
What's that?
That like the relying on myself to feed myself is. Hey,
what? Let me get the bag I use most often. 1 second. Let me just get the bag.
It is, Peter. It's really intimidating. I found myself in this predicament where I'm like paralyzed to eat.
Yes.
I'm like, what am I going to eat right now?
Yeah, and then you just so that's your daily.
I'll bring it to work. I'll have 2 avocados in. I'll have 4 boiled eggs. I'll have a bag of arugula with two. And how much it takes 2 minutes to dump from the
Let
fridge.
me ask you something though,
Yeah,
Uche.
yeah,
Let's take someone like myself, the average avatar of the dentist.
yeah.
How quick? So if I go to all this pain in the ass of bringing my lunchbox to work, like you do, how quickly am I going to feel a difference? Right? I need the positive. Going back to that positive feedback.
Almost immediately, just having this in my car, it cements my conviction and my discipline. I take it out. People think, "Oh, Dr. Odiatu, you're so." You get compliments all day. You get positive feedback all day. I open it like it's actually your thoughts, the placebo effect of eating healthy. I can get healthier, just like CGM is affected by mood and thoughts. Just by making it, I start feeling good. So,
how often do you go to the grocery store?
I buy fresh stuff. I don't have. I have no actual schedule for it.
Okay.
I just know I want my fridge to look full of fresh food.
Because you're single, right? So you're Craig. You're out of this conversation because your wife takes care of you in that aspect, right?
Yeah. So, Peter, the first step is: do you know where the closest Whole Foods is?
Yeah, I guess go to Kroger. It's fun.
Okay. Albertsons, Publix,
whatever.
You can get it. You can buy three. Yeah, buy the avocados.
Uche, I am always looking for where is the action, and whenever we have a podcast, I'm always looking at like where's the rubber going to meet the road, because it's fun to talk about testing and this and that and look real, like it be an academic thing, but like at the end of the day, there's plenty of podcasts that do that, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I'm willing to A, give it specificity to our industry, and B, like what are the things that I can immediately change, put into action?
Well, a dentist needs to have a cooler bag.
Okay, so that's non-negotiable. You have to do that. There's no hack. Okay,
if you're not bringing food to work, you're at the whim of being starving, which lowers your ability to have protein synthesis.
And that's been for 25 years. I've been at the whim for 25 years.
Yeah, and
me
it shows
for
up
53
in how you feel and look, and how much pain you have in your body, how much discomfort. Because technically, if you're eating healthy, there's no inflammation in your body because food is anti-inflammatory.
You know, so just like we never get any damn educational in dental school with how to read a balance sheet or doing a P&L or run a business. Like we get this could be a 1-day course. Maybe this could be at BP Health, right? When we do our retreat, but like this, but this is so intimidating because I have zero acumen on how to even do it.
And Peter, it's formative too, because the test is the lagging indicator.
Totally.
So if we could just focus, and maybe this is a second pod on nutrition, because if this gets fixed, don't worry. Like here we are talking about ApoA, ApoB, like little AB, all that stuff. I'm sorry.
we need to be an accountability partner.
No, but I'm just saying, like the most important thing is what goes in. So we always talk about like the data. What are you looking at? What KPIs are you looking at? And then, so what goes in is the most important. The input is the food.
Makes so much sense, right? Like Uche, you gave the Porsche analogy. You don't put 87 octane in your $300,000 Porsche, right?
No.
You put high test fuel, right? That's been clean and you know, doesn't have ethanol in it and shit.
I never use shitty fuel in my cars.
I know.
But a rental car, I always put the shittiest fuel in.
But myself, no. Taco Bell's good for this engine.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But that's very that's very raw of you. But again, who has all 7 spheres of their life being perfect? Like spiritual, intellectual, academic, financial.
This is formative because it shapes everything else. So your physical fitness and your energy shapes your financial future. It shapes the relationships for all your team. If you come in stressed, you're eating.
If you're doing a business deal and he wants to open up your new office and you're just getting him as an associate, and he's falling asleep at 8:30 during dinner, you're judging him immediately, right? He has a double Tito's. He's got the sea bass because for his STD, and you're thinking, what the hell? I'm not going to hire this guy. And that's why
all the table bread is gone.
All the table bread's gone. He's got sauce on his shirt. His breath is foul.
Wait, this is getting personal? Is this like the last time we had dinner together? Is that what you guys were talking about?
If he goes to the bathroom and he doesn't come back for 20 minutes, like if it takes someone 20 minutes to have a bowel movement, I don't need any tests. I just know their body's not working well. Like,
how long should it take?
It should be quick, in and out. That's why we shouldn't be scrolling on there. You get hemorrhoids. So less than 2 minutes, in and out.
By the way, you know, this is a total tangential random thought, but they thought this thousands of years ago.
Shocker.
So there was something, and I remember I was in Europe somewhere in a castle, and they said, yeah, the king would come out and make a bowel movement, and the king's crew, the inner circle, would watch him every day to make sure he was healthy. I'm like,
not
are
a bad
you
idea.
freaking kidding me? So like you, that was a very ancient idea that you just had. You could tell by someone's bowel movement and how fast or whatever that they're a sign of health.
Well, going back to testing,
you should be going twice. You should be going twice a day. Twice a day.
So going back to testing, should you be, there's some like microbiome and stuff like that. Yeah. Do you believe in that aspect?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of I've been talking about microbiome for 10 years. Microbiome is massive because diabetics have different microbiome. Depressed people have different microbiome. People who travel a lot have poor quality microbiome. Obese people, poor microbiome. Older people with cancer have different microbiome. Every disease is preceded by a disruption in the microbiome.
Craig is giggling already. He's wondering, how do you test for microbiome?
I'm giggling because I noticed on my CGM when I took a probiotic, my scores got better.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And probiotics are kind of a catch-all. They're not perfect kinds. It's like people often will do everything bad and say, "Oh, I tried probiotics for 2 weeks and I didn't feel better." They still go to Chick-fil-A. They don't exercise. They hate their husband. They're doing endo. They hate endo. A probiotic is not going to heal.
You're very negative on endo, by the way.
You are negative on endo.
Yeah.
I've heard endo three times.
Can we swap that with like Dio's on or MODs on 16?
I've never found the MB2 canal. In dental school, they said 4% of upper first molars have 2 canals. And it's like the Loch Ness Monster. Now they said, 98% of them or all of them have an MB2 canal. As soon as I wasn't finding, I was only charging for 3 canals. I'm thinking, I'm stopping doing endo.
Just keep widening one canal and you'll find they'll eventually merge.
You did.
And then you see the Sargenti method from the Soviet Union or Russia. And it still works. And you're like, why am I spending all this technology?
You put a little bit of enriched plutonium.
Blow a gas
But ozone, right?
Oh, whatever it is.
Uche, so talk to me. When you were at the ranch, you would comment about the microbiome, and that microbiome is imbued from the surrounding. Is that what I'm gathering?
Yeah, different. So houses.
What you smell?
Yeah, smelling, being in a different state, being in a different, eating different food, hanging out with different people. Like you have a different biome. So if I stayed with you, when I stay with you, I'd have a different. You hang out with.
When you leave my house, do you ever order chili and sea bass? Or is it not that bad?
Depends who your friends are. People ever been talking to someone and they spit in your eye?
Yes.
If it was Michael Phelps, I wouldn't mind. If it was Elvis Presley on his deathbed, I wouldn't want his saliva in my eye. Michael Phelps in my eye. Doesn't matter. LeBron James spit on my eye.
Okay, so let's get to tactics. Even for me, I want to get to some tactics.
Okay,
so what's in Uche's lunchbox?
Well, I told you, arugula or spinach.
Okay.
In a Ziploc bag. Tomatoes. People worry about lectins. Do not worry about lectins. Unless you have an allergy or an issue, lectins are in almost all vegetables. It's nature.
Lectins.
Lectins are. I know people do lectin-free diet. It's just an annoying.
Yeah, it's too granular.
It sounds like the seed oil lady.
It complicates people who don't know how to go. It complicates.
That's where that nightshade thing comes in.
Oh my God, nightshade! No,
that was popular for a minute. I never heard of nightshade.
Red, orange, and yellow peppers. That's not America's problem. Red, orange, and yellow peppers.
Right. Okay, so a little bit of arugula. We got a little bit of in a Ziploc bag.
I'll have 2 apples. Why 1 apple? 4 grams of fiber in every apple.
An apple a day. So 2 apples a day. It's got to be even better.
Double up. Average American eats 12
apples.
Grams. 2 apples.
Okay.
An avocado, 2 avocados.
How do you eat an avocado? You have a spoon with that?
I just cut it. I've cut it with a comb. I've cut my avocado with a comb before. Just to get at it. That's my passion for avocado. I'll cut it with the handle of a comb.
You know what, Saisha is an avocado. Every meal we have avocado at the house. Every meal it's a side of avocado.
And look at her skin though. Look at that lady's skin. Look at her eyes. Look at her alertness. Look at her hair. So.
Okay, keep going.
Craig, are you eating them?
Well, I eat them, but they don't do shit for me.
I would do one.
I ever tell you the story? This is a great story. I got to tell you the story. So when I met my wife, one day she was cooking, right? Early on, and she was seasoning raw chicken. And for those that are just listening and can't hear the podcast, can't watch, she was making a motion where she was licking her fingers, and I could see out of the corner of my eye she was testing the seasoning of the chicken. To which I said, "What the hell are you doing? You got to be careful with the raw chicken. You can get salmonella." To which she said verbatim, "Oh, that shit's for white people." like somehow she's Latina and immune. Like that's just for white people. And I'm like, okay, well, our kids one day will be susceptible to this. It's like, oh, that's just like some like white man magic. Like that's not true. That we don't believe in that.
Hey,
I'm like, but you do believe in chupacabra, like the ghost that like calls you up in the middle of the night and takes you. I'm like, does chupacabra come with like a fever and diarrhea? Because that was probably salmonella. Anyway, I digress.
Okay.
White people diseases.
Salmonella, 70-80% of all meat has salmonella on it. There's no cure for salmonella poisoning. You can die from it though. But if you have a good biome, if you're healthy, you can eat almost anything. Like Michael Phelps ate 10,000 calories a day.
Yeah.
So if your biome is healthy and you're well rested and you have a good immune system, 4 people eat the same meal, 1 person gets the food poisoning. I can't believe it. I ate it too.
That's Saisha.
Good biome.
My wife.
It's like having 1 bad kid in a class of 29 good kids.
I live with Michael Phelps. I really do believe that. Yeah, she is a freaking machine.
You're blessed. You're blessed. Okay. What else is in? There's actually fun.
So we got apples, really arugula. What is that? Another grift. What do we got?
I like to get some high fiber protein bars. I don't look at the protein content. I look at the fiber content. There's 6 grams of fiber in this. 6 grams of fiber. There's different brands, but I like to bring about 4 or 5 when I'm speaking because sometimes I'm not going to eat breakfast. I'll have one of these and some mixed nuts and a dark roast coffee, which are all good for my biome. And they stave off hunger.
Okay, got it.
They can stave off hunger. So
how many grams of fiber in a bar? What do you want?
5 to 6 grams.
And is fiber all created equal, meaning fiber, what it says on the fiber package is fiber?
You can't, usually it's inulin. You can overthink it, but 5 or 6 grams.
No, I'm just curious. I don't know if there's high fiber, low fiber,
there's
saturated fiber.
There's soluble, insoluble. Like coffee has insoluble fiber. Asparagus has insoluble and soluble.
Okay.
But, we don't know the exact ratio as much.
But I know fiber's really, really good. I know that.
There's people that eat 30, 40 grams a day, and they look great. If someone's only having 1 bowel movement a day or misses a day, that's a sick system. If someone's only having 1 bowel movement a day, also you can tell that this is actually a good test for microbiome. If you have a smelly bowel movement, people can't go into your washroom. That's a toxic biome. Your biome is healthier when you have bowel movement and it doesn't smell like a nuclear waste site.
Okay. So, and dumb question. I'm going to be the dumb person here.
Okay.
And I'm sure there's other dumb people listening to this. Fiber is vegetables as well. Like
mostly vegetables.
Broccoli, cabbage, onions.
Vegetables. Grains, good quality grains.
Got it.
Ezekiel bread.
Okay, got
it. Fruit has fiber in it. Raspberries have tons of fiber.
Got it.
So,
how about dates? Dried dates.
Decent, but you got to watch the sugar intake because there is some fiber in those though. But if I'm going to have a date, though, where's my protein? So if I'm going to have some dates, I'm going to have it with my 2 eggs and an avocado. Because dates have no fat and no protein. So I want that date is sweet, so it takes the edge off my need for sweet. But I want an egg with it. I'd want an apple with it. I'd want an avocado with it. I'd want a bar. That's why in my carry-on luggage, I'll carry 2 or 3 bars. And I'll carry
Kind bars? Do you like Kind bar?
Kind is decent.
Because Kind never affected my blood sugar. I felt like I was eating a candy bar, and they're just
inexpensive.
Tasted...
They're inexpensive. It's a fruit and nut bar. I'm not sure if it's called Kind, but a decent.
Yeah, so like all the Kind bars to me tasted like candy, and they never affected me.
But they have protein and fat probably, and they probably have good fiber inside.
No, there's a lot of fiber. That's what it is. It's paired with fiber.
I'm not saying that one kind in particular, but I was going to travel anywhere. I'd have 3-4 bars on me at any time. So I'm less likely to be ravenous during a connection. If I'm thinking, oh my God, I have a tight connection, I'm hungry, I just reach down to my computer bag, grab a bar. And I have a Ziploc bag full of mixed nuts in it. Ziploc bag full of mixed nuts. So all kinds, pumpkin seeds for the selenium. I have Brazil nuts. I have cashews. I have almonds. I
get this mix from Whole Foods. It's like, I don't know, it's omega-3, it's walnuts and dried cranberries and stuff like that. It's really nice. It tastes great.
Yeah. But let me give an example of what my mixed nut thing looks like. 1 second. Here.
So let's review while he's walking over there. So are you gonna do this, Pete?
I have to.
Yeah, I'm with you on it.
I fill this up about every 2 weeks. It costs about $50 to fill up.
Okay, so, what's in that? So that's what you just said?
All kinds. I have almonds, I have cashews, I have sunflower seeds, I have some cranberries. I have
cranberries, right?
Seeds.
Cranberries, you said? Dried cranberries?
It's a nice sweet taste. It kind of takes the edge off if it's bitter.
Yeah.
Pumpkin seeds, the magnesium, selenium. I have Brazil nuts, and I just Ziploc bag every day. But again, can the average North American afford this? I don't think so.
Sure, they can. This is the priorities.
But you know what? But they say the average dental patient, though, given a $500 treatment surprise, can't move ahead with it. That's why Care Credit. Okay, I like those. That's why Care
I
Credit
love
comes
this.
in.
This is an easy thing for you, Pete.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would bring that.
And it tastes great.
I would have that in my carry-on.
Yeah,
this is carry-on. And some miso soup.
I never run out of this. It's $8, $9, whatever.
Yeah.
But just you can Amazon it to yourself. Organic omega-3 trail mix.
So miso soup, bars, mixed nuts, green tea. I carry little things of green tea with me, and I carry a dark roast coffee in a pre-bought that I bought, and I'm good to go. I could live for 3 days if I had to, you know. But so definitely, if Peter, if that's your next thing, get a. It could be a Camel. Get the kind of Ziploc you get a collapsible cooler you like. But I would invest in one of these. I don't know, $20. You can take it out. It cleans easy. The inside shell, outside can be cleaned. This can be thrown in a dishwasher.
Oh, cool.
Right?
Yeah,
So,
I'm going to recommend you get a Yeti version of that, but that's just my.
Okay, Yeti's your sponsor. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wish.
And then to give you an idea, then there's these hacks, right? You heard of Gary Brecka, Peter?
Yeah, you know what's funny is Gary lived with Josh, my buddy Josh, Pete, in Miami. He's his roommate.
I did.
In Miami.
I did the methylation testing with him because I have, one thing I found is that I have a component of the gene deficiency, the MTHFR.
Oh, you have that one. Okay.
Right. Which makes hangovers worse. Methylation's involved in almost everything we do. Right. So I have to kind of supplement with methylated Bs. And he basically told me it was good. It was a 5-part methylation test, and it tells you a lot on how to kind of adjust your lifestyle.
I never read the results, which is funny.
Yeah, that's funny. But yes, I know Gary. I know him. I know of him.
So he talks about hydrated. Ever you got hydrated water? Have you tried this?
Hydrated water? No.
No. It's got extra hygiene. So it costs about $85. This is not his. You can buy them. So it costs like $85, and it puts extra hydrogen into the water. It's supposed to help lower soreness after workout, which is not a huge deal, but supposedly it lowers inflammation. So
it's called hydrogen water.
Hydrogen-rich water. Hydrogen-rich water. And I got some studies actually. I got one study from the American College of Sports Medicine that said that there is something scientifically significant about it.
So how is that like versus an alkaline water? Like I have an alkaline maker at home.
Yeah. See, is that a Kangen style? Is that a Kangen unit?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not sure about alkaline water. I'm not sure if water's naturally 9. Like, I'm not sure if that's the water we drank as cavemen, cavewomen. So
I think that's probably so. Going back to the dentist, right? Looping it back, I think too. We're always running around super dehydrated, or at least I was. Right? You always forget. You always forget to drink between patients and things like that. So I would say that's probably even more problematic, at least for me. It was during the day. The thirst was a more problematic thing than even the poor diet.
Well, you lose mental clarity. Like the minute you're dehydrated, being thirsty will hurt you more than being hungry. That's why the evolutionary thing of the pain you get from being thirsty is way worse than the pain from being hungry.
So what's a hack with? So it's not an unwillingness. It's just like, okay, how do you do? I've tried those water bottles that light up and they remind you to drink. Like, is it the opposite of 8 feet away, like your health foods things?
I'd say to have one of these on your desk at work would remind you. I would have one on your desk. And again, it depends on your height, the humidity, how dry it is, how old you are, how much muscle you have, how busy you are. But I would say always have a cup at a time. I would never sip it. I'd rather down a cup of water than sip it. Just have a cup at a time.
And ideally, an ounce per body pound or something like that.
It's almost too much though. If I'm 183 ounces of water is a lot of water. So
a gallon. Just try to shoot for a gallon a day, right?
A gallon is that's a lot. That's a lot of water. Oh yeah, a gallon is 4 liters or 4 quarts of water. Okay. So a gallon is a lot. And athlete might have to need a gallon. But I would aim for just having one a day. Be surprised if people actually walk around dehydrated. The breath, you smell someone with really bad breath, dehydration, like odor. Sweat. The minute you start eating healthy, your sweat will not smell.
Yeah.
I had a girlfriend that said So do you notice I never use deodorant? I go, it's because I eat so healthy. She shouldn't use deodorant. So stinky sweat and bad bowel movements, that's a sick person. That's detoxifying. The body's detoxifying. It's nuclear waste coming out of your body. Bad breath. So yeah.
Got it. Okay. All right. Good to know. Good to know. All right. This is
Pete,
good
I
stuff.
started doing that. You look at, I'm always with this water bottle. You see it everywhere. The water bottle I carry. I use an electrolyte. It makes me crave the drink. So, that worked for me. So water alone, I won't be craving the drink. I'm addicted to my electrolyte powder.
So you mastered that then. You've mastered hydration. Right?
I've mastered hydration.
Yeah.
I was literally, when I was your age, or actually up until probably like 48, I was severely dehydrated every day. Severely. Like consuming like maybe 10 ounces of water. I drink coffee, which from my understanding, a net like 10 ounces of drink or 8 ounces of coffee, you'll secrete out more than you consume because it's a diuretic. So 8 ounces of caffeinated beverage is 12 ounces loss or whatever.
A lot of doctors say caffeine in tea is okay as a liquid. Like if I was on a desert island and all I could drink was coffee, I could probably stay hydrated. But if you're working hard, I wouldn't want to just drink coffee. So there's nothing like clear water to hydrate you. But if all I had was coffee, I wouldn't get dehydrated drinking coffee all day. And you can tell you're dehydrated if you never go to the bathroom. Like people who can sit on a plane and not get up for 5 hours, they're dehydrated. If you can sit on a plane for 5 hours, not get up once, dehydration. And if people are going to the bathroom if it's noon and they're going to the bathroom for the first time, that's a sick metabolism. Like ideally, within 2 hours of getting up should be when you're going. A good system within 2 hours of waking up. And if you're not going, you're
depends on when you have your coffee, though.
That's true. Yeah, caffeine can be a laxative, but going within 2 hours of but the minute you start going to a bowel movement 2 hours first thing in the morning, think, wow, I'm on track. And that's that celebration water. Craig would have let off a sparkler in the bathroom, but just to celebrate go to the bathroom. Your body's on target. Go in the bathroom first thing in the morning, because you got to think, if you haven't gone to the bathroom in 24 hours and you're putting more food in, that your body goes, what the hell are you doing? I haven't even let out the waste and you're putting more food in. So
Uche, can you move to Florida?
I could.
Yeah, because this is too much. I can't action on all this.
Craig just needs someone to just follow him around all day and be like, no. Yes. Yeah.
Cold.
But if someone could afford it, though, I'd say delivered meals, pre-prepared. I'd say if some dentist has such a hard time getting his head around this, I would just get a meal. There's I think a plan called Factor, and they will give you meals for your weight, height, activity level. I like
Peter, you should be doing that.
Yeah, no,
I did.
So why'd you stop?
I got sick of the meals, honestly.
So just get another meal company.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
sucks to be your local Zaxby's, Peter. I can already hear their P&L going. Where's that guy that comes here? The double spicy curly thing. And it's like a meal. He calls it something. You're like, I'll just take
the number 4.
If your
meal is by a numerical number, you're probably in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. If it has a supersize or a number associated with it, that's probably just not a good thing. If you're taking the number 4 with a Coke, not good.
Shit. Okay. All right. Look,
we got work to do, Pete. We got work to do.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. I'm literally, as we're sitting here, I'm scrolling through lunch boxes on Amazon.
So you know what we need? We need to do this. We need to get a retreat. Right?
Yes.
And we need to get an elite group. Listen, this is selfishly speaking. I want Peter and I to go to a retreat. I want you, Uche, for 2 days.
Yeah.
And then I want some accountability loop, whether that's a Facebook page or something like that, where you can be like, hey, is this approved? Like Uche approved? No, good, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
or maybe a WhatsApp,
that's what we need.
A WhatsApp, so we can actually share what your meal is. That's accountability. Like you show the food.
I'm willing to pay for that.
Yeah.
I want that.
And this is what I've studied for 44 years, like 44 years. I haven't lost and gained the same. Like I've done this for 44 years. And keeping it simple, the weight training program, the consciousness, the mindfulness meditation, the yoga that I do, the strength training, red light, all these different lights. Like right now, just because I haven't gone outside this morning, I have this little lights right beside me here. This little light. So 10,000 lux light, and it gives my circadian, my superchiasmatic nucleus, the caveman side of me that used to be outside. I'm getting energy from this. So I have all
Yeah, I
these
was going to
subtle
compliment
things.
your supraplasmatic nucleus actually when
My
I saw you.
superchiasmatic. What's that?
I was just saying, I just didn't know how that would land on you, but I mean, is that okay for one man to say to another? I'm just admiring your superplasmatic nucleus.
You can. It's 20,000, and it's deep inside my brain. So,
well, yeah, I could see it.
Yeah.
When you look
Yeah,
up, I can see it. Like
you can
through
see
your
the
nostrils.
result. You can see the result of it, though.
Yeah.
Mitochondrial health. Like, let me give people one book to read that would probably take next level. Besides Peter Attia's Outlive book, Good Energy. Good Energy by I think it's by Casey, Dr. Casey, medical doctor, came out just this year. It's all about mitochondria. Mitochondria. You and I, the three of us, make about 160 pounds a day of ATP.
Wow.
It's made by the mitochondria. And mitochondria are 500 million years ago, went into the cytoplasm of these organisms, which were to our ancestors. So mitochondria have bacterial origin. But if you have lots of energy, whether it's me at 7 o'clock, I don't think I'm a morning person, but you should see me at 7 o'clock, I go on fire. I'm more of a night owl. So my chronotype is night owl. Like I'm on fire. Like, if you think I've got high energy now at 11:30, I'm on fire at 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. And
yeah, I know. That's when I get a FaceTime call from you.
What's that?
I always get a FaceTime call at that time.
but to give an example, and again, it's just so you talk about Tony Robbins says success leaves clues, and I'm just sharing with you because it's by strategy. An 18-year-old kid come in, and his mom wanted his only child. He's at Duke, and he studies basically the gut microbiome. And he said, "Doc, I heard you do chin-ups." I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, that's you got old man muscle." I said, "You can call it old man muscle, but I bet you I can do more than you." He goes, "I'm 18." I said, "Do you want me to go first?" So I went up at the chin-up bar in the office, pumped out 12, and I stopped before I finished. He barely got 12. And I saw his mind go like, "Mom, you were right. This guy is weird." But he goes, "I like this dentist." She goes, "I like this guy." So just doing 12 chin-ups, he's like, "This is my dentist." Like, without seeing my CEREC machine or my digital pad.
Ultimate flex. And I mean, anybody that's wealthy can buy a whatever or have whatever, but the ultimate flex, I saw something, look at Jeff Bezos now. Look at how he looked when he was in his garage, slumped over. Now he's like freaking like James Bond. Like you can't,
Thor.
And look at Zuckerberg. I mean, he was now he's like master BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, fit as hell. So yeah, you're right. It's awesome. My wife is gonna be so happy with this.
The only one who looks horrible is Elon Musk. He doesn't care. He's got 10 kids. But Elon Musk is the only guy. He's probably the most out of shape billionaire.
He's sleeping, never sleeping. He's just obsessed.
Yeah. He's got like a learning issue, but again, I can't take his advice because he's out there. Like he's so out there,
Right.
He's challenging everybody to fist fights, though. I think that's pretty. I had actually put my money on Elon beating the crap out of most of those guys.
Hey, just flop down on him.
Yeah, he's got that the seal technique. He just lands on you.
But no, we do this. We do this retreat in next spring. It's going to be life changing. Like you guys do the practice management stuff, and obviously we could do some mindset stuff during those 2 days. But everything gets better if everyone keeps their clinical skills the same, and you get fitter or you get leaner, everything improves. More emotional intelligence, better sleep, slow down aging, less pain.
If you're hearing Uche, and we're going to keep it small, 20, 25 people. Greg and I will be there taking up 2 spots already. So now we only have 23 spots. But if this is something that you're interested in attending, because we are attendees, right?
Randy will want to go too. I think Randy would go.
If this is something you're interested in attending, we obviously haven't formalized, registration page or anything like that. But selfishly, Craig and I want this.
We need the help, Pete.
I understand, but where I'm going is that people can just, in the interim between now and formal registration, people can just email us or contact us, say, "Yeah, I'm interested in going," right? Like an all-inclusive out to maybe a Scottsdale, kind of Savannah or something like that, where we can spend time and reset, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I think the reset means different things for a lot of people, right? Maybe it's stress for some people. Maybe it's diet for me.
Mental wellness.
It's a wellness, right? Learning, flexibility, learning, just resetting yourself, especially when you're, approaching middle age or are middle age. It's becoming more and more, we used to be able to do anything to our bodies. I felt like I could do anything to my body and be fine 15 years ago, right? I felt bulletproof, but now like I'm seeing chinks in the armor, like shit, maybe you're right. Maybe Chick-fil-A every day is not so good for this engine. Yeah. So, anyway, email us if you're not to get in touch with us. Go to the webpage and say, hey,
could we, I know you're going to get mad at us, but could we create a BP Health list?
Well, we don't do anything. You're asking me to?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Can you talk to our minions in the world and see if we could help put that link?
Greg.
So yes, could we get it Bulletproof, dentalpractice.com, and a little health, just like the real estate one?
Sure, we can do that.
Oh, I feel good about us doing that.
It's gonna fill up quick though, because I'm speaking once a week, like
I know you're a speaking
people,
machine,
and every person has a spouse that needs to come with them.
Okay, so how many people can come on this thing?
I don't know.
I want it intimate first.
But
2025.
It's gonna be
20 people,
almost like for sure. But it's gonna fill up quick though. Like I think it's gonna fill up really quick.
All right. Well, me and Craig, we will work on the logistics because that's what his superpower is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm really good at that.
And hydration, obviously.
And hydration. He's good. He's got hydration and logistics.
And freestyle rapping. Good at that.
He is a good freestyle rapper,
No, he's good. He's got a quick mind.
That's why he's so witty. When you can freestyle rap, it means that's an indication that you're good. All right, Uche, anything in closing that we didn't talk about that you want to say? I mean, we did talk about kind of a wellness immersion, a BP Health immersion, and we'll get more formalized around that.
Yeah.
But anything that we did not talk about that you would be like, shit.
Yeah.
I'm looking kind of at your notes here. Your special diet, protein. We talked about carbs, fats, mindset, supplements.
Yeah, we didn't talk about supplements, but and again, I'm more of a whole food person. But in terms of my supplements, I take a magnesium every morning.
Oh, I want to talk about creatine. Sorry, thank you for bringing that up.
Creatine, a teaspoon a day. And 40 years of science, but you need to stay hydrated. And you got to be exercising. If you're not exercising, you don't need creatine.
Don't need it, right?
Okay, so the days you work out, you use creatine, and the 2 days you're off?
I use it every day. I take a teaspoon a day.
If you're working out, you can use it every day. If you're not working out, like myself right now, it does nothing for you.
Yeah, it's no value.
A teaspoon doesn't sound like a scientific measurement. What is it, milligrams or what pill?
It's 5 grams. Every container comes with its own little scoop.
Yeah,
it has to be a scoop. You can't take a pill?
No.
It's a big enough thing.
Mixed in water, it comes into your body better.
How does it taste? You can't even taste it, by the way.
Really inexpensive. It's really inexpensive. So creatine I take daily. Magnesium I take daily. There's different kinds. Citrate for digestion. Glycinate for sleep. But it's not like Valium. It doesn't work that. People say, "Oh, I take a magnesium before I go to bed." It's still in your esophagus, so it doesn't work that quick, But so I take magnesium daily. Fish oil. I like my Norwegian fish oil. Love Norwegian fish oil.
Can I take a creatine gummy?
No,
I don't like gummy much of anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like gummy much of anything.
Do you take from a sleep perspective? Do you monitor your sleep with Whoop or Aura?
No. If I'm lucid, I woke up lucid today. I mouth tape.
Mouth tape. Is that like a sexual thing or?
Yeah, I bound and gag.
Is that what you take? You bound and gag yourself? Didn't the guy from NXS do that?
You too.
What's that?
Didn't the guy from NXS? Wait, why do you mouth tape? What does that mean?
Because it prevents mouth breathing, right?
It forces you to breathe in through your nose, and higher nitric oxide, more powerful erections.
I tried it. It felt like I was suffocating, Craig.
Oh, wow.
So you might have a deviated
mouth
septum.
tape. What do you tape yourself with, like duct tape?
No, they're actually mouth tape. There's people that made bunches of money by creating just mouth. Like, we're labeling mouth tape on Instagram.
I have no idea about any of this stuff.
No, this is huge. I might get these guys as a sponsor for their retreat. So
let's see.
That'd be awesome.
So there's different kinds. There's one called I like these guys. Mouth tape. Mouth tape is literally just you take. You got to say goodnight to your significant other. If you want a date, you want to say goodnight first, though, because you can't talk after.
Sometimes you could just put that tape on her.
Yeah.
Or him.
Then you
And
need
you
the
don't have to
bounding
listen to it
gag.
anymore.
And then you need the
Don't give Peter any. He's going to mouth tape me
and
at
then you need the
dinner.
bounding
I
gag.
just can't hear any more of your shit,
So,
Craig. Give me
look,
some
you
of
throw
that.
this on.
You're
You throw
gonna
this on. It's
travel with
soft.
mouth tape.
It's soft.
Uche travels with avocados. I'm gonna start traveling with you, Craig, with mouth
Now
tape.
try to talk to me. Just try to say like, I think there's an intruder inside the house. Just try to say that for me.
All right. So mouth tape is one thing.
Wow. You look like you're about to do some ISIS video.
We will release them in
They're
7
treating me
days.
fair.
We'll release them in
I
7
promise
days.
I'm doing well.
Sleep is I know we talked about that last, Uche, but I think that is one aspect where I feel like if I was intentional about my diet the same way I've been about sleep scientifically, I'd be in a much better place. So, because I see the benefit, therefore, from my feedback loop, I'm like, okay. But like when I'm super healthy eating, I don't see it as much as, maybe it just takes more time.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys can see these mints, but I've recommended these things to 3 people actually.
Okay.
And every one of them without fail has texted me and been like, dude, that's the greatest night's sleep I've ever gotten.
What's in it?
They're called, sorry guys. They're called, they're on Amazon and they're called neuromelatonin. So it's a 5 milligram. It's a mint. And it's got amazing ratings, but like everyone I've recommended,
mint, neuromelatonin,
yep,
sleep and recharge.
That's it. Yep.
The brand is Neuromint.
Yes, that's right. But everyone I've recommended has texted me, and that's never happened before. It was kind of recommendations. They're like, dude, that was incredible. Like, so
do you like the 5 milligram or the 1 milligram?
5. I did 5.
It's probably other things. There's probably other things. There's theanine.
Of course.
Theanine helps. Arginine.
Yep.
Magnesium helps lower muscular tension.
Yeah, there's chamomile. There's all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
like chamomile. There's some passion flower. There's some elderberry.
The reason why they've shown the less you sleep, the more chance of being obese, is because sleep makes you more ravenous. It makes you more hungry. You'll make more poor food choices. Because just being tired makes you make more poor food choices. If you sleep 9 hours, you get up after 9 hours sleep, you're not having a Danish. You're going to have the avocado. So sleeping makes you more alert and mindful. Also, if you're not sleeping while you're exercising, you will lose less fat when you exercise.
Yeah.
So if you're sleeping 7-8 hours, your exercise becomes more efficient at building muscle, losing fat.
Interesting.
Okay? That's why sleep is important. Also, you make more growth hormone. 80% of growth hormone is released during deep sleep. So someone who sleeps well is going to be more muscle, more growth hormone. They'll make better food decisions, and the metabolism is better. And they're better able to manage their blood glucose.
Yeah,
and that's
athletes that I know, all my athlete friends sleep like incredibly.
Yeah.
Like in bed 9 p.m. and gone off of sleep. No, I've never met an athlete or a competitive, physically fit person that says I have suffered from insomnia. And by the way, shout out to Amazon for getting that to me in like 1 hour, by the way, because I literally went on Amazon while we're talking and it's going to be here. So I'll try it tonight. Thank you for that.
It's such a quality of life enhancement for sure. Remember the days
I'm going to be able to do it tonight.
Remember the days of like having to like pick up the phone and call, hey, do you have this in stock?
Hold on. Let me go check.
Yeah, let me go check. Uche, any other testing? I want to land the plane and fully close the pod here.
Yeah.
Any testing that you missed? We talked about supplements.
I like the test. If you look at your pulse, having a low resting pulse is pretty powerful. So 65 and under. I'd want to get my pulse 65 under. Because when your pulse is low, it means your heart has the ability to get out to 50,000 miles of blood vessels and back with every beat. So an inefficient heart, so low cardiac output, low stroke volume, is got to be quicker. So I would look at getting your heart rate lower when you're not exercising.
What would be ideal?
Mine is 59, and I don't do any cardio except I do some.
Wait, your resting, sleeping heart
my resting
rate
pulse. If I took it now, it would be 59.
Yeah, I'm 55 right now.
But sleeping, you don't know because you don't track with data.
I don't track.
Such.
Yeah, it should be really low at night though.
Yeah,
but if someone's overtrained or adrenal fatigue or going through a divorce, your resting heart rate's higher. So that's why it beats the shit out of you.
Of course,
it beats the shit out of you. So heart rate.
Hey, what brand creatine, guys?
That doesn't matter. I would get the cheapest one. All Max is a really good one.
Just go with the best reviewed, Greg.
Okay.
All right, and all right, Uche, I think that's good. Again, in closing, guys, if you're interested, reach out to us somehow on this summit. Uche's independently going to be talking about it on his world tour. You go lecture every week to You're the busiest dentist I've ever seen, lecturing dentist.
Yeah, you're the most prolific dental speaker I've ever known.
You know what I like about you, Uche, though? You do not talk about it. Like, there's so many of these dentists that I see on the Instagram and stuff. They're like, I'm a road warrior and I'm on the road. Next stop, next stop. Like, it's this like badge of honor. I'm like, and they're like, it's this flex. And like, you just talk about it like, yeah, I'm going here. But like, you're not next up, Chicago. See you soon, Chicago.
I know who you're talking about, by the way.
No, there's tons of them, dude.
Who's that for? I want the attendees. I don't need other speakers looking at my stuff. I want attendees.
Right.
I'm interacting with attendees.
I'm just saying, thanks for not peacocking your 50 lectures that you do every year is all I'm saying. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love answering. I get direct questions. I say 10 a day about something. And I like to answer on my own. I don't have some automated answer. I'm answering. So I want to find out, what are people concerned with? I want to put my finger on the pulse. Like people talk about, I get perimenopause questions, menopause questions. I get probiotic questions. My son hasn't got out in bed, doesn't get out of the bed. How can I connect with him? Like, so I love those questions. Like, it really makes me realize there's such a wide spectrum of issues,
Well, that was awesome. I know with us three minds, sometimes we go off on little tributaries, and as Craig's wife said, I'm trying to bring it always back to the central message so that people can get off this pod and say, oh yeah, I'm gonna try this today, right? Eating the elephant one bite at a time.
God bless that session.
Yes, right. God bless her. Yeah.
Well, you're just her style, I guess. She likes the tactical
systems, and she's formal. Hey, systems and formal.
Yeah. Anyway, that was great, guys. And then Uche, what do we have up next? So this was pod 2 in the BP Health calendar. What will we have next?
Let's change it up. Let's do a basic exercise. It's almost like basic, and we'll do an advanced one, obviously. But basic. Let's do basic exercise.
I have on here slay the stress dragon. Is that the antidote?
Well, you tell me. I don't have it in front of me. Just so we don't have to have like 3 food in a row. We could talk stress. I
think stress is a big thing, honestly, because when you kept talking about cortisol, right, and from a dentist perspective, I bet you it's stress overload, right? Cortisol overload.
Yeah.
Because of on time, I'm running behind. Shit, I just dropped this burr, and shit, this prep didn't go well. This impression sucks.
I cut their lip.
Yeah, what's going on? So I would say that cortisol is probably a very something we need to learn how to manage for sure in the industry. Yeah. So let's do that one next. So slay the stress dragon.
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. See you guys. You guys have a great day, and that's the pod. We'll stay hydrated, people.